a gunfight. Let's get evil.
Simon Ghost Riley already knew who Alex was, and he also thought that Alex was dead, which means that essentially Alex did fake his death because he led people to think that he was dead, and only a very small, minute amount of people know that he is still alive. That includes Captain Price. However, since we know that Alex is not Simon Ghost Riley now, the new theory that seems to be floating around is that Alex may indeed be Roach within this Modern Warfare reboot. There is even a cockroach weapon charm in the game hinting at Roach's return, and to be fair, this makes a lot of sense if we re-examine a lot of the evidence that we used previously to suggest that he might be the new Simon Ghost Riley. First things first, obviously within Alex's character bio, like I stated, he is able to survive in in-hospital conditions that people usually wouldn't be able to survive in, and cockroaches are famous for being able to survive the impossible and survive in conditions that pretty much no other life form can survive in. They are able to survive in nuclear blasts, they're able to survive in extremely dangerous and hazardous environments.
People often say that cockroaches will be able to survive a nuclear attack. It turns out that a direct hit, nothing would survive. But there is some truth behind that statement. It turns out that cockroaches are able to withstand higher levels of radiation than humans or other mammals. Because cockroaches are insects, they have a process of growth called stadial growth, meaning they grow up to a certain point, then they shed their exoskeletons, and then they have a rapid period of growth again, then they shed their exoskeletons and have another rapid period of growth. And because of these periods of rapid cellular growth and division, that's when the effects of radiation are felt in an organism. Because cockroaches and other insects are not continuously growing and dividing cells and creating new cells in their body, they're less susceptible to the harmful effects of radiation on their cells.
So since Alex has managed to survive after the end of Modern Warfare's campaign, what if his comrades actually give him the name Roach because of the fact that he managed to survive all those explosions just like a cockroach would? In fact, this isn't even the first time he did this, because within Modern Warfare's campaign itself, he survived a very similar situation within the mission The Wolf's Den, in which he obviously enters the wolf's lair and it all gets burnt down and it all starts collapsing, but he manages to make it out alive because he is rescued by Farah at the end, and then he obviously goes on to kill the wolf, so it would make sense that he is now given the nickname Roach. Now here is another big piece of evidence that Alex may indeed be the new Roach. Not only has he managed to survive in hospital conditions similar to how roaches can survive nuclear blasts, but cockroaches are able to live, move, eat and breed with only one or even two legs missing, and roaches actually fully regrow their legs back after 3 to 5 months. Alex has obviously lost his leg due to the explosions, and he now has a fake robotic prosthetic leg. He has essentially regrown his leg similar to how a cockroach is able to. So this could be another reason as to why he is given the nickname Roach. He is literally the human equivalent of a cockroach. And here is the thing, now that Alex is an operator in Modern Warfare, his character customization, his skin that he has, is very, very similar to the outfit that Roach wore within the original Modern Warfare trilogy, within Modern Warfare 2. The similarities between the two outfits are absolutely stark. Now another big piece of evidence as towards Alex potentially being Roach is this quote within Modern Warfare's campaign that I'll play for you guys right now.
Before the war, his village had families and laughter.
Laughter is the best medicine.
Tell me a joke.
What happens when the CIA goes to sleep?
What?
They go undercover.
Not bad.
Probably better in English.
You told it in English.
Now obviously within my Alex is Simon Ghost Riley theory video, I had speculated that this quote was actually hinting that Alex was going to be the new Simon Ghost Riley, because essentially I thought that this quote was going to hint that Alex was actually going to be faking his death and he was going to still be alive, and now we know that that was indeed true, because Alex says what happens when the CIA goes to sleep? They go undercover, and I thought that this was maybe a bit of foreshadowing and that sleep was essentially synonymous with death. So if we used it in the context of the ending of Modern Warfare, maybe when Alex actually died, he wasn't actually dead, and he was instead just quote-unquote asleep, and he would instead be going undercover, and this would be his way of faking his death to better help him go undercover. However, he says that it would have sounded better in English, and Farah says, well, you did say it in English. However, Alex is American, and the original Simon Ghost Riley is indeed British, so I felt like maybe this was a hint or a bit of a reference to the original Simon Ghost Riley, and that maybe Alex is able to speak in a British accent, aka true English if you want to call it that. And that was what this joke was in reference to, because Alex is able to speak in multiple different languages and accents, he has multiple different identities, and one of them may be a British identity. That was my theory, that Alex was going to be Simon Ghost Riley. However, maybe I jumped the gun a little bit, because Roach, just like Simon Ghost Riley within the original Modern Warfare trilogy, was also British. So maybe this quote was simply hinting at Roach as opposed to Ghost instead, because still to this day we don't really know what exactly Alex meant by it would have sounded better in English. When he did say it in English, it was just with an American accent. So right now that we know he is not Simon Ghost Riley, all that I can think of that this is hinting is that he might indeed be Roach, and he might be able to speak with a British accent, but I don't know, that's just a theory. But as I was saying, let me know in the comment section down below, what on earth could this mean? There is nothing it can mean that I can think of. Now, furthermore, this may be a bit of foreshadowing as well. So after the campaign mission in which Alex survives out of the wolf's den, obviously he survives out of all of the place burning down, just like within Modern Warfare's campaign ending when all of the fire and explosions go off. After he kills the wolf, he says,
Bet we couldn't kill him twice.
and I don't know about you guys, but I think this is foreshadowing to the end of Modern Warfare's campaign, because as we were saying, Alex managed to survive out of the fire within this mission, and within the ending of the campaign, Alex similarly managed to survive out of the fire. So maybe it is foreshadowing, too bad we couldn't kill him twice, in reference to himself, because essentially now we can kill him twice, because we thought he was dead the first time, and maybe now it gives Infinity Ward the chance to kill him again within the future storyline. Obviously, within the original Modern Warfare 2, Roach and also Ghost were killed and betrayed by General Shepard, and he obviously set them on fire. So maybe Alex is going to die again within the future of the Modern Warfare storyline within one of the sequel games, but this time he's going to die for real. Now, I have heard from my source that apparently they're planning to have 3 more Modern Warfare games after this one, and they don't intend on killing off a lot of the main characters very quickly. They're going to keep them on for quite a while because they want to expand their storyline and give them a lot of backstory. So I don't expect Ghost, for example, to die within the next Modern Warfare game so early on. He's probably going to stick around for a couple more games at least. You know, when I posted my theory that Alex was Simon Ghost Riley, a lot of people were saying, well, it didn't really make much sense because Alex's personality isn't very similar to the original Ghost from the original Modern Warfare trilogy, and despite there being a ton of evidence that Alex was going to be Simon Ghost Riley, I did agree with that sentiment. They did seem very different to each other. However, the argument that I used was obviously that Alex has multiple different identities, so who's to say one of his other identities isn't similar to Ghost? However, if we look at Alex's personality, it is very similar to the original Roach. They are very similar people, so this theory makes probably more sense to you than the theory that Alex was going to be Simon Ghost Riley. Even though there was a bunch of evidence, I was honestly completely convinced that he was going to be Simon Ghost Riley. I was completely convinced up until obviously Ghost was added as an operator and we found out that their tattoos didn't match up and their eye color was different. Up until then, I was completely convinced. But still, it doesn't really make sense because within the leaked images of Ghost, his eyes were blue, of which matches Alex's blue eye color. However, now that he has released, they are now brown. So I don't know whether that leaked image of Ghost is of another Ghost that is going to be added to the game within the future, because as I was saying, it seems like we're going to be getting multiple Ghosts. Obviously, Mace is one of them. So maybe I took my source's teaser too much at face value, and maybe all that it was hinting at was that Alex was essentially going to be resurrected because he never was actually going to be dead, and maybe that is what the ghost coming out of his character simply symbolized, because Alex, although he is not Simon Ghost Riley, he is now essentially a ghost to everyone who thought he was dead. Obviously, a lot of his teammates, such as Farah and stuff like that, thought that he was dead, and I'm sure when Farah finally finds out that Alex is still alive, she's going to be very emotional, but they're all going to act as as if Alex is a ghost because, as we were saying, they all thought that he was dead, but he was never actually dead. Essentially, even though he is not Simon Ghost Riley, he is a true ghost. He has come back from the dead, he has survived the impossible. And although he is not Simon Ghost Riley, there is a possibility that within the future, he might be another one of the characters to wear a ghost mask. We obviously have Mace within the game that is wearing a ghost mask, and it might be similar to Call of Duty Ghost, in which there is some sort of whole legions of different ghost characters, and maybe even the game could somehow tie into Call of Duty Ghost as some sort of prequel. There is some evidence for that as well, especially considering that they've added Riley from Call of Duty Ghost into the game, and the character models are exactly the same, but I'll talk about that more within a future video. So maybe the theory that Alex was going to be Simon Ghost Riley was only partially incorrect, and he might just be a different ghost to Simon himself. But I don't know, we'll just have to wait and see how the storyline plays out, but Alex is essentially a true ghost. Now, since a lot of people think that Alex is dead, it's definitely going to help Alex a bunch. If we actually read Alex's background, it says former CIA SAD turned Warcom ground branch asset. So obviously he was formerly a part of the CIA, however he was charged with desertion after joining Farah to topple Barkov's regime in Urzikstan that we learned from Modern Warfare's campaign. Obviously he went against the grain because he wanted to side with Farah, even though Farah's forces were labelled as a terrorist organisation. He did what was right, he followed his empathy, and he did what he felt was right. So he is no longer a part of the CIA, and he's actually a part of Warcom instead.
As much as we can all hear the ice in the glass, I'm afraid our toast has to wait. Hadir and his new friends are on the move.
What are they?
One step at a time.
No one said they're friends. The general would tend to disagree.
Norris, I asked you to let me
Tell
handle-
him, Laswell, or I will.
Command has officially redesignated Farah's forces.
You want to translate that from bullshit to English?
It means they're on the list.
What list?
Foreign terror organization list. I've ordered my Marines to treat Farah's army as hostiles.
What? They're our allies.
Yeah, not anymore.
You keep your muppets on a short string, Colonel.
Or what?
I'll fucking earn you from it. Kate, these people need our support.
There's nothing else we can do.
Well, there's plenty we can do.
I'm tired of being told who my friends are.
Alex, don't.
I'm going back to Urzikstan, staying with Farah's army.
What you're doing is illegal.
I'm pretty sure everything we do is illegal.
Only the good stuff. You got friends nearby?
You too.
Thank you. For everything.
Well, it's not over yet. Trust me.
I always have.
It's a specialist training to infiltrate enemy lines and surviving in hospital conditions. So he's a part of the Coalition Warcom now. Alex is obviously now going to be a very important asset for the Warcom because they're probably going to use him a lot to go on missions of which have a high chance of resulting in a casualty. He's going to be doing the missions which are next to impossible because that is what he is specially trained to do. Now here is the interesting thing. Within Alex's character bio, we learn that he has been on the field for pretty much his entire life. We even have this quote.
I've been an assignment my whole life. This is what I believe in.
Alex has never lived a normal life. He's always just been taking on different roles, different personas, different identities to achieve tasks and goals. He's always pretty much been working for the government as some sort of undercover agent, and he is able to take on multiple different identities. He's able to speak in multiple different languages and accents to help him go undercover. Because of this, we know that Alex's name is not actually even Alex. We don't actually know what his real name is because of the fact that Alex is within quotation marks, so Alex is probably just yet another one of his identities. We don't really know what his real name is. However, since he does go undercover a lot, since that a lot of people think that he is dead now, it's definitely going to help him go undercover if less people know of him and people think that he is dead. Within the ending of Modern Warfare's campaign, Captain Price obviously meets up with Laswell and they form Task Force 141. We learn that Sergeant Kyle Garrick is going to be one of the members of Task Force 141 and he is going to be the new Gaz. We also know that Soap is going to be joining Task Force 141, and we do also know that obviously Simon Ghost Riley is furthermore going to be joining Task Force 141. I'll play that for you guys right now.
Tea?
Yeah, well, I'm a long way from a proper pint.
Russia disowned Barkov.
Well, they didn't have much choice, did they? He's dead.
You took a big bite out of that problem, John.
For now. We're left unchecked.
It won't be. General Shepard pulled the files you asked for. What exactly is this about?
A task force.
We already have loose ends.
Then I will tie them.
I can fund assets, not outlaws.
Enjoy the tea, then.
Sakayev wants Barkov's throne.
I almost buried him in Pripyat with Macmillan.
That was the father. This is the son, Victor.
Lovely family.
They're big fans of Hadir's.
Well, that would explain why he's still alive.
They're gonna get him out.
Then give me what I need.
Who's your crew?
Sergeant Garrick.
Kyle?
They call him Gaz. He never said anything. John McTavish, SAS, sniper, demolitions, goes by Soap.
Why?
It's classified. There he is. Simon Riley.
There's no picture.
Never. Now the rest. That's neat to know. Unless we got a deal.
What are you calling this task force?
141.
However, Captain Price does say that there are other members of Task Force 141 that he doesn't reveal yet. Now, I have a huge feeling like Alex and also Farah are going to be two other members of Task Force 141. The reason being is within the end of the campaign, we obviously get this image, of which is a throwback image from the original Modern Warfare trilogy, which is on screen right now, of the original Task Force 141. And it definitely hints that maybe Alex and also Farah are furthermore going to be a part of Task Force 141. And that does make sense, because within the Modern Warfare Season 3 intro, Ghost obviously requests that he needs backup, he needs fighters that he can trust. He says that within the Season 2 cinematic cutscene, and Captain Price sends in Alex to help him out.
Price, something's wrong in Verdansk. They're targeting their own. We need to find out why. Send fighters I can trust. Ghost out.
I got a fire team. Operators inbound hot to your position.
They better be good.
They are.
Echo 3-1, reporting for duty.
Alex, thought you were dead.
Captain Price was one of the very few people that knew that Alex was still alive, so maybe this was actually something that was planned. Maybe he faked his death on purpose so that it would help him go undercover, and maybe he is indeed going to be a part of Task Force 141 now. Obviously, Alex was charged with desertion. This would be very beneficial for him, for people to think that he is indeed dead, as he has essentially committed a war crime, I guess, along with Farah. And also within Modern Warfare's campaign, for some weird reason, Alex has a Task Force 141 badge on his soldier, but despite that being before Task Force 141 is set up. So maybe he was one of the original members of Task Force 141 before Captain Price got it fully established. And as I was saying, I have a huge feeling as if Alex actually faked his death along with the help with Captain Price. Maybe this was something that was planned, although it didn't go exactly to plan since he now has a prosthetic leg. But yeah, this definitely does hint that maybe he could indeed be Roach if he is going to be a part of Task Force 141. After all, as I was saying, he does have the Task Force 141 badge on his shoulder, and in fact, it is in the exact same position as Roach's Task Force 141 badge as well within Modern Warfare 2. So, I don't know about you guys, but this seems really suspect. I really do think that maybe, as I was saying, he is indeed going to be the new Roach. After all, he could still also wear a ghost mask within the future if that is something that ends up happening within the storyline, because Riley was introduced into the game brought back from Call of Duty Ghosts alongside the introduction of Alex. And Call of Duty Ghosts was originally going to be tied into the original Modern Warfare trilogy because the whole game was inspired by Simon Ghost Riley being such a beloved character. That is why Riley the dog is actually called Riley. It's a bit of trivia towards Simon Ghost Riley. And Modern Warfare is set in 2019/2020. Everything's happening in real time, and Call of Duty Ghosts is set in 2023, so the timelines are very close to each other, so it is possible that we're seeing of a younger version of Riley prior to Call of Duty Ghosts, and as we're saying, this could all be leading into a prequel to Call of Duty Ghosts. And if that is the case, I wonder as to why they decided to introduce Riley alongside Alex, as if there is some sort of connection to Ghost there. After all, we now learn that Ghost and also Alex were actually friends because Ghost already knew who Alex was. So I do think that there is a possibility that Alex might also be another one of the characters to wear a ghost mask, similar to Mace within the future. But I'm going to be making a whole video about this soon, so make sure you are looking out for that. And also, since he is able to carry out multiple different identities, he's probably going to be the one who's going to be going on undercover missions. And if he is a part of Task Force 1412, as I was saying, he is going to be the one who's going to be going undercover and infiltrating enemy lines. That is what he is trained to do. He is trained to get under the enemy's skin, get that inside information. Anyways, this is going to conclude today's video. Let me know in the comment section down below, what do you think of all of this? Too bad that the theory that Simon Ghost Riley was going to be Alex was indeed wrong. However, maybe we were just looking at the evidence wrongly. Maybe, as we were saying, a lot of the evidence could have just been suggesting that he was going to be Roach as opposed to being Simon Ghost Riley. I don't really know. Anyways, thank you for watching the video. Make sure to subscribe if you're not for the latest and greatest Modern Warfare news and information. So anyways, thank you for watching, and bye.